Here we are, united to debate debate number two. My name is Vivek.
My name is Sujata.
We'll be debating on the topic of adopting or adopted children and parenting. I'll start with the first question, and each of us will have 1 minute to answer them. We begin with, are adopted children equally legitimate as grandchildren in their relationship with grandparents? If I had the ambition to be a grandfather, my entire desire is based on the simple premise of a family legacy, a legacy that goes back to my grandparents and probably generations behind, and then to my children, and hopefully into my grandchildren. If I had a grandchild that was adopted, there would be very little difference between a niece and a nephew and the adopted grandchild. And moreover, when you hold the grandchild in your arms as an infant, you want to see a bit of yourself in them. For these very, you may call it crude or not crude, but maybe like very basic human desires and emotions, though equally deserving of the love and relationship with grandparents, adopted grandchildren cannot be considered legitimate as genetically, biologically connected grandchildren.
My take is very simple on this. While most people would agree with you, and the notion of having a bit of you is very appealing and has a lot of emotional connect with the grandparents. However, parenting or bringing a child into this world is not only about fulfilling a desired obligation or continuing your legacy or your gene pool should continue much after that you have gone. That is not why a child should be born, or its very existence should come into play because of this premise. That's my take on this. My second question which comes out of this is, should the couple who are expected to uh, you know uh, under pressure fulfill such obligations? Because at the end of the day the grandparents may have a limited role in the parenting of the child, but the child becomes an adult and the child becomes an entity. And the parents, and especially the mother, she's not a baby producing machine that she has to do this because, sometimes it also goes overboard. So the matter of the thing is that it's a continuous child parent relationship which evolves over years and years, and the nurturing takes place, and the heartache and everything that goes with the parenting is, it cannot be just that you bring a child into this for somebody's desire.
Um, Grandparenting is a very complicated and personal um, desire to hold. It's very unique because it's one of the few ambitions that you may hold which are completely out of your control. Um, which is why I would say, if the couple, and especially the wife, or the mother to be, because she has to carry a greater burden in terms of holding the infant or the fetus within her body for 9 months. If there is no health threat or a, or a financial constraint on the couple, because if they are if they're not in a position to support and actually completely devote all resources to the upbringing of the child, if there are no financial constraints and if there's no um, bad health outcomes that may be applicable to the mother, then I think it's one of those gifts that couples in this case must give to people who are otherwise helpless to fulfill this basic um, emotional fulfillment on the behalf of their grandparents or on the behalf of their parents. A final question that we will have to smash out for uh, for the title of the most convincing debater is: Are adopted children and genetically connected, biologically connected children equally, um, are are they treated, or should they be treated equally, or do they hold equal um, value? I think uh, in terms of relationship and love and support, you have to look, if you take on the responsibility and the endeavor to adopt a child, it's equal, it's an equal sharing of the burden as having your own child, biologically connected child. It's, and it's the same for even the grandparents on all levels, apart from the fact that there's a distinction between, family legacy. For every other issue, from support, development, love, care, and empathy, I think adopted children and biologically produced children are, or deserve um, equal relationship with all parties of the family.
Well, what you say is partly true, but the main essence of this will lie on the premise that which will goes back to your first question, is because if the grandparents just want a grandchild, irrespective of whether it's biological or it is adopted, then it will not matter. The child will have an equal terms of nurturing, development, affection, everything that goes with it in the positive sense. But the moment you bring the legacy or the gene pool in it, human biases do come into play, and that is something which needs to be very well established before you get into even entertaining such a notion that whether a child should come into this world basis, you know, of the legacy, or just that you want to be a grandparent in the real sense that you would like a grandchild, you would like to have that relationship which is unique to a grandparent and a grandchild.
Okay, I think we should rest our cases right there and wait for the viewers to decide what they think on these positions.
That would be
Follow
very interesting.
interesting for the loser or the winner. But anyway,
We'll
please
see.
vote on Twitter and subscribe to the channel.